Alright, so here is what the Gundam Easy SR would look like, of course, with the two rail cannons on it. Finished assembling, of course, the head, as you can see here. And I put on the missile packs, but it's held up by a little sticky tack. I just want to see the overall feel and how it looks. I think it's not that close. Let me try to get it a little bit closer so you guys can see it here. There we go. And it, you know, I have to admit, this idea is starting to look pretty good. Pretty good. Finish up the waist unit, of course. Needs a little bit more. I'm trying to see how I'm going to map out the detailing of it and how to paint it and all that stuff. So this shouldn't be any difficulties. The one thing that I'm now starting to notice that's going to give me a little bit of an annoyance is the fact that these legs are not as just a little too maneuverable, you could say. Maybe you know, and also it's not well balanced. It tends to, I mean, even though I would think that the cannons are well lined up properly, depending on how I pose it, it'll either end up falling forward or falling back. Plus the fact that these little guys here are a little too loose. Hopefully maybe the painting will tighten up the joints. If not, I could stick something heavy in there and heavy in there. I have what do you call those little weights that fishermen use when they do some, you know, fishing. So I have those little iron ball weights, so I can put it there to give it, you know, some sort of stability. Of course, if that's not the case, I will of course put it on a stand, depending on the situation. So right now, this is starting to look pretty good. And oh, just as I mentioned before, the head I detailed it up. Not detailed it up. Excuse me. I removed the extra peg there and sanded it down a bit to have it that little type thing. While I was doing that, I said, let me assemble the backpack, which is right here. This is the basic backpack, and by the way, I have a second one from the expansion pack. And here, of course, is what it looks like when you put it on from here. Now, I got the two little small thrusters here that goes here. I'll put it on like so. That pretty much is this pretty much completes this part. But of course, these two will be designed to hold the missile pack, or so I thought. Or so I thought. You see, realizing what was going to happen, I didn't realize that these two guys would probably get in the way of the missile packs. So to give you an example of what I'm talking about, let me just prepare it here. Here's how the missile packs would look like, but if I put it here, it'll be banging against the rail guns. Defeats the purpose, of course. Railguns should have, of course, a straight to wide narrow arc, or maybe, of course, a concentrated fire, depending on the situation. But regardless of the case, it shouldn't hinder the missile pack. Then when I saw that, I said, alright, you know what? Why not reverse it? Why not do, instead of that way, put it like that? Well, it's not designed to put it like that. Oops. Well, you know, it's right there. It's not designed to go like this because the clearance on this doesn't suit well, and it's also hitting the head. I didn't calculate this. It looked great on paper and visually seeing it that way, but putting the two missile packs like this didn't pan out the way I thought. Not realizing, of course, that this thing is offsetted by the fact that it's not even. So it will look like this if I put it like that together, like this. I'm glad I didn't waste a lot of time detailing these packs, because if I did, I would be really pissed off at the fact that I would have done it for nothing. Great idea, but don't think that will fly. And before you guys ask me why don't I do this, yeah, I did take this and I put it to the sides of the shoulders so I can put the cannons back here. That didn't look right. This one's, I mean, the cannons on the shoulders look a hell of a lot better than putting missile packs like that. Maybe it could be as an option. I could always redo it, you know, detail it up a bit, again and show it off during my final pictures and stuff like that. But for me, bringing it to MosquitoCon in that format, no. So it pains me to say the missile packs will not be part of this build. So that means I'm going to be using the thruster packs, the ones that of course gives it extra thrust. There we go. Alright, so 2 weapons is fine. I mean, excuse me, 4 weapons are fine, but you know, I want to maybe find something else to put on this. It's a shame. I could probably cut this and put another thruster there, or get something to go on this. I have to see all the plastic parts that I have put to the side. I definitely want to look into now giving more detail, maybe on the backpack, of course, detail on the forearms, on the shoulders here, on the side, front skirts, the chest plate. Originally I was thinking of using this guy right here, but it's too, see how it looks, it doesn't come out right. The only way this will work is if I remove this and put that there, but that doesn't, you know, again, doesn't work that well. No details here and here, and not necessary, but maybe something around here. As you can see, I've already did this as a visual representation of what I think it would look like. But overall, this is pretty much what the Easy SR Custom would look like, with, of course, its 2 Gatling guns. Which reminds me, I remember, I was thinking, what if I put this part in the back? Hold on a second. Like, put it back here and use it as a clamp of some sort to clamp it behind the elbow. I'm going to try that, see if that will be a good idea. You know, I don't know, what do you guys think? Something like that. Alright, still work in progress. I'm going to detail it up a bit more, and then I'll show you guys what the final results, hopefully in the next video. Pardon the mess. I've been very, very busy with my Gundam Easy SR Custom, but I wanted to do a final showing of what this kit now looks like, and what I think, to my interpretation, is the final results. Just a little bit of sanding down here and there, a little bit of adjusting here and there. But I wanted to show you guys what this guy looks like. Sans the 2 little barrels, because originally I said that I was going to do like a snub nose version, but for that to happen, this one fits perfectly in there. That means I would have to cut this off and then put this barrel here, but then I was thinking if I screw this up, then there's no way to go back. So kind of like I'm doing, you know, I'm going to keep the barrels right now. I glued these 2 parts together, so I'm going to sand them down nice and even. So that way I can get rid of those little the little seam lines in there. But yeah, they go here and they go there, so you've already seen that. Let me break down what I just did. And for that, I need to get a little close. Actually, let me just go zoom in, it'll be a lot easier. I'm doing this with one hand, so I apologize. Here we go. ahead. As you can see, the only modification I did was I took one of the antennas from the other kit, from the from the other head, and I sanded it down and I placed it there, which looks pretty good. I like that. I thought I had extra antennas and I was going to do another one here and another one there, but I thought maybe that's a little too much. That and the fact that once I take this apart, and I don't want to like damage it, so I'll leave that for now. Did a little bit of work here on the shoulders, which I'm going to sand down, and then I'm going to maybe cut a little bit off here and there. See how that comes out. Did some here. Didn't do nothing on the body except for getting my pin vise, which I had a hard time looking for it. I didn't know where it was, and I finally found it. But the pin vise allows me to, you know, make those little holes there, which was okay. The waist unit, it was a little bit of a trick. It was a little tricky. But as you can see, these two little parts, this was actually the side shoulder armor parts that I cut down, sanded down, put pla-plate in the ends because there was a gap hole in there, and then glued it on to the waist, to the front skirts. Nothing here on the legs, and I've decided not to use the side missiles on the legs because it didn't come out right, it didn't pan out right. But instead, let me just lift this arm a bit. I found these little plastic parts that I guess was the palm armor, you know, the wrist armor of a Gundam, probably a Zaku. I sanded it down, cleaned it up, and I applied it there, give it a little bit more layer, you could say, of armor. Looking from behind, this part here was actually the part that went on the forearm. I think that was the forearm, right? Where's the manual? Sorry, I guess the manual's not within reach, but fine. So I did that here. Came out okay. Nothing on this. I was thinking of doing something, but I just didn't have time. I was actually thinking, and it was a good idea by Prime 92, maybe I should make fuel tanks. But I didn't have anything to make them, and I don't think I have the time. Now, the forearm, I took this little part here from this, which was from the extra part, and I put it there. Came out okay. But this is where I put all the meat and potatoes of my kit, which I'm going to expand out a bit. Here is what the final Gatling gun looks like. These parts were from, of course, armor from the Stark Jagan, which I did cover it with pla-plate. This part here was one of the foot armor parts. This part here was one here, which is holding up from behind. This was actually the hold on, let me just bring it around. This was part of the shoulder armor, and it looked very interesting in this position. Of course, I put a little pla-plate here and there. I'm gonna cut off a little bit here because it feels like it's not even. Actually, it does look a little even, but maybe not. So that way, it looks like it's a bigger, you know, it carries more bullets, you could say. I was originally, again, thinking of making some sort of canister to put there, but I thought mine would be a little too heavy. Right now, the weight on this is okay. Which brings me to one of my gripes here. Let me put this back down here so you guys can see this. And one thing I hate about it is this stupid. This is being glued on. Once it's painted, it's glued. Period. End of discussion. So I like how it came out. I hope you guys do. But I think what I'm going to do is, once all is said and done, once everything is painted and cleaned up, these hands will be glued on to the Gatling guns because it's too loose. I don't want it too loose. I wanted to at least have a good firm grip and held it in the proper position. There's another thing that I wanted to do, so I wanted to put like a little guard thing right there to wrap around under the wrist. And let me show you something. This is a little trick. Hopefully this will stick. stay right there. Alright, so these are two little plow plates that I wrapped in the circle, and it's being held by this. Once that's in that position, I'm going to take it out. Hopefully it will stay, and then glue it on. Hopefully it will stay. If it doesn't, then I'm going to omit that, maybe put something else there, but it'll be like a little guard thing that goes around there. Put to the side. So within 24 hours I'm going to begin painting this guy, see how it looks. I'm going to do some detailed photos, and besides, continuing on with glue. Okay, so I'm going to glue that. Definitely these parts are going to be glued because these are too loose. Hopefully with the painting, the friction will hold it into place, but if not, it's glued, period. I got to clean up this top part here. There's something back here that I need to fix up on the cannons. Yeah, and that's it. Then that's another thing, because I'm not liking how the stability, because the front part of the foot is too loose. Reminds me of a Master Grade kit that I'm not fond of, which was the Master Grade Exia, where its feet were too loose. I'm actually considering making getting another stand and putting it on a stand and doing some sort of weird action pose. Granted, these things cannot be stable in a way. I gotta make sure that they do, so they can be nice and straight like that. I wish if it was possible to do this, maybe open it up, but then you have the back thrusters here hitting it. I don't know yet. I really don't. And no, by the way, the thrusters, you have that part here that I forgot to mention from another kit. So I got 2 more weeks. Actually, no, three more weeks. 3 more. Actually, no. Yes, 2 more weeks. I want to get this kit done in 2 weeks. So then the last thing is me cleaning up, preparing for MosquitoCon. So let's begin painting.